For about $90 a month, a senior in America can sign a 3-year contract for a help button that does not detect falls. And the only guaranteed ways out of that contract are a letter from a nursing home, a letter from a doctor, or a death certificate. Meanwhile, the operation that ran the most aggressive version of this pitch, robocalling seniors to tell them a family member had already bought them a free device, was hit with a judgment of more than $25 million and banned from telemarketing permanently. This video names 5 brands in the medical alert business and shows you what is actually written into the paperwork before you sign it. Most families have heard of one of them, maybe 2. The 5th name is the entire reason this video exists, because it is no longer the company you think you are buying from. Every year, roughly 1 in 4 Americans over the age of 65 falls. That is about 14 million people. Those falls send about 3 million people to the emergency room, cause more than 1 million hospitalizations, and according to the Centers for Disease Control, killed about 38,000 older adults in a single recent year. The rate is not improving, it is getting worse, so the product makes sense. A button around the neck that reaches a monitoring center in seconds is a genuinely good idea, and for a lot of families it has been the difference between a long recovery and a fatal night on a bathroom floor. Nobody watching this should walk away thinking these devices do not work. Most of them do. The problem is not the device. The problem is the contract underneath it. Here is the first thing nobody tells you at the point of sale. Original Medicare does not pay for these devices. Not Part A, not Part B. They are not classified as durable medical equipment, so the entire cost falls on the family. Some Medicare Advantage plans have offered coverage as a supplemental benefit, and that number grew for a few years, but several major insurers began dropping the benefit again in recent plan years. Medicaid sometimes covers it through home and community-based waivers, and that varies state by state, which means most families are paying out of pocket at the exact moment they are most frightened, usually within days of a fall, usually over the phone, usually without reading a single line of the agreement. And there is one company that built an entire business model on that moment. The first name on this list is the one your mother already knows. Life Alert has been running the same commercial since the 1980s, and the phrase it made famous is genuinely part of American language now. The company deserves credit for that. It made an entire generation aware that this product exists, and it built a real monitoring operation behind it. But here is what is in the agreement. Life Alert requires a 36-month contract. 3 years. As of the time of this recording, it is the only major provider in the category that still does. Medical Guardian does not, Mobile Help does not, Bay Alarm Medical does not, LifeStation does not. Every serious competitor in this market sells month to month, and Life Alert sells 36 months. There is an activation fee that has been reported between roughly $95 and $198, and monthly pricing that runs from about $50 up to about $90, depending on the package. Independent reviewers who have added it up put the full 3-year commitment somewhere between $2,000 and roughly $3,400. Put that next to a competitor, a month-to-month plan at $30, canceled after 8 months because the subscriber moved in with family. Costs about $240. The same 8 months on a Life Alert agreement leaves 28 months still owed. Same product category, same 8 months of use, completely different exposure. That gap is not created by the hardware, it is created by a signature, and for that money, Life Alert does not offer automatic fall detection on any plan. Competitors charge about $10 a month for it. Now, the contract does allow early termination, but read the conditions. Section 3 of a Life Alert subscriber agreement states that upon the death of the subscriber, the 36-month agreement is automatically terminated. The other exits are a permanent move into a 24-hour skilled nursing facility, which does not include assisted living or retirement community, or a doctor's letter confirming round-the-clock care at home. Each one requires documentation. Think about what that means in practice. A daughter moves her father into assisted living. That is not skilled nursing. The contract continues. And in 2021, the state of New York took that pattern to court. If this is the kind of thing nobody tells you before you sign, subscribe, because this is what every video on this channel does. New York Attorney General Letitia James announced a settlement with Life Alert in March of 2021. According to the Attorney General's office, from at least January of 2014 through February of 2020, The company failed to tell New York consumers about their legal right to cancel within 7 days of signing. More than 16,000 New Yorkers signed up in that window. The settlement forced the company to notify more than 5,500 existing customers that they could cancel immediately, made more than 700 eligible for refunds, and cost it $750,000 in penalties. The Attorney General put it plainly. She said that when the elderly and disabled fall and hurt themselves, they trust Life Alert to come to the rescue, and that Life Alert violated that trust when it refused to honor consumers' rights. A separate class action filed in California in 2021 alleges the company kept debiting bank accounts after customers asked to cancel. That is an allegation. It has not been proven in court. The New York settlement, though, is public record. That one happened. The second name never advertised during a football game. Most people have never heard it, which is precisely how it worked for so long. The pitch went like this. The phone rings. A recording tells a senior that a family member has already purchased a free medical alert device for them. Sometimes it invokes a trusted organization by name, a heart association, a diabetes association, a retirement group, none of which had anything to do with it. Press 1, and a live operator collects a credit card number. In 2015, the Federal Trade Commission and the state of Florida sued an operation called LifeWatch over exactly this. The commission alleged the defendants placed at least 1 billion unsolicited robocalls. The devices were not free. They carried monitoring fees of roughly $30 to $40 a month and a cancellation penalty. The final order, entered in 2019, imposed a judgment of $25.3 million and permanently banned those defendants from telemarketing. The commission later mailed almost 72,000 refund checks worth more than $1.8 million. Most of the judgment itself was suspended based on inability to pay, which is the part these cases rarely advertise. A nearly identical Orlando operation had already been shut down years earlier, after officials received more than 66,000 complaints. A regional director from the commission described that strategy in words worth repeating. He said that if you call enough older consumers, you will find someone with dementia or Alzheimer's, and that these people knew they were dealing with people who were not all there, and they took their money. The third and fourth names are legitimate companies. This part is about fees, not fraud. LifeStation sells month to month with no contract, a real advantage over Life Alert. But the advertised price is not the price. Fall detection has been listed as an ad on around $14 to $16 a month, which pushes a $30 plan closer to $50. And in hands-on testing by one senior product review site, LifeStation posted around 40 seconds to answer against roughly 8 seconds for the fastest tested competitor. 40 seconds is not a scandal, but if you bought that plan because an advertisement promised the fastest response in the industry, those claims are marketing copy, not verified performance data. ADT Health is the fourth. No long-term contract, no equipment fees, and it runs its own certified monitoring centers, all of which counts in its favor. It also still charges about $99 just to activate, long after most competitors quietly dropped that fee. And then there is what happened in 2022 that almost nobody outside this industry noticed. When the wireless carriers shut down their third-generation networks, starting in February of 2022, older cellular medical alert devices simply stopped being able to reach a monitoring center. An industry association had estimated around 6 million people were relying on those devices. Reputable companies did send free replacements, but the president of one medical alert company described the irony in that process. His company was calling seniors to offer a free upgrade, and seniors, correctly trained by a decade of scams, assumed the call was fraud and hung up. The scam calls made the legitimate safety warning impossible to deliver. The fifth name is the reason this video exists, and it is not a company accused of wrongdoing. It is a company that is no longer who its name says it is. For decades, the most trusted device in this category was Philips Lifeline. Philips is a global medical technology company, and putting that name on a help button meant something to families making a hard decision at a kitchen table. It is the brand a retirement organization has long put its own name behind, which is exactly the kind of endorsement that ends a family argument about which one to buy. Philips does not run it anymore. In May of 2021, a company called Connect America acquired the Philips aging and caregiving business, including Lifeline. Connect America is backed by a private equity firm. Philips retained a stake, the Lifeline name stayed on the box, and the marketing relationship stayed in place, which is why most customers never noticed that ownership had changed hands. Connect America also owns the brand called Medical Alert, so two names a family might compare against each other on a search results page are the same company. It goes further. In May of 2024, Medical Guardian, backed by a healthcare private equity firm, acquired Mobile Help. Those two brands are routinely reviewed side by side as competitors. They are now one business with a combined base of more than 600,000 members. Lively, the brand sold in Best Buy stores, was formerly Great Call, which Best Buy acquired in 2018, and the monitoring itself is not always what it appears to be. Mobile Help does not operate its own dispatch center. It outsources monitoring to a large third-party company that also handles calls for other brands. Some providers run their own centers. Some rent the same one. So when a family spends an evening comparing 5 brands and picks what feels like the independent underdog, there is a real chance they have picked 3 subsidiaries of 2 private equity portfolios and a shared call center. That matters for a reason beyond trivia. When a brand is a line item in an investment portfolio, the pressure on it is to raise the average revenue per subscriber and reduce the cost of servicing complaints. Those two pressures point in exactly the direction of longer terms, more add-ons, and harder cancellations. Consolidation does not make a company dishonest. It changes what the company is being measured on. Here is the last piece, and it is the one that changes what you should do today. There was supposed to be a federal rule fixing this. The Federal Trade Commission finalized what became known as the click-to-cancel rule, which would have required that canceling a subscription be as easy as signing up for it. In July of 2025, a federal appeals court vacated that rule entirely, days before it was due to take effect, on procedural grounds. The Commission has since moved to try again, which means the federal protection most people assume already exists does not. What still protects you is older and narrower. State automatic renewal laws, strongest in California and New York, a federal statute covering online subscription signups, and state cancellation notice rules, like the 7-day New York rule that Life Alert was found to have ignored. So before anyone in your family signs anything, ask 4 questions and get the answers in writing. Is there a minimum term, and how many months? What is the total first-year cost, including activation, equipment, and fall detection? What exactly happens to this contract if the subscriber dies, or moves into assisted living, not skilled nursing, assisted living, and who actually answers the call, this company or a contractor? An emergency button and a subscription agreement are 2 completely different products. One of them saves lives, the other one renews. Nobody on that phone call is going to walk your mother through the difference before she hands over her card number. Read the contract first, then buy the button, because the button is worth having. If this saves someone in your family a bad signature, hit subscribe, because this channel exists to read the fine print nobody else does.